Hello, and welcome to Brass Dragons Meditation. My name is Ralph Martin, and I have something special I want to talk to you about today. Now, do you ever feel like the universe is trying to tell you something special? No matter where you turn, this one thing just keeps popping up. For example, the other day, it seemed like everywhere I turned around, I saw the number 21. I had no idea what it would meant, but I look at the time, it's, 10:21. I look at something else, it says 10:21. It That number just kept popping up all day long, and it was like, okay, what are you trying to tell me? Is it 2-1? Is it 21? Or two ones? Or 1-2? Or you know, I didn't know. I didn't know. But the universe is constantly trying to teach us things. And you really have to be careful on what you ask for. If if you ask for, well, before I get to that, life is going to present you with lessons. What is your purpose in life? And um, sometimes it's your body trying to tell you something. Whether it's to eat better, drink more fluids, um, stop doing this to your hand, your shoulder's hurting. It's trying to tell you something's going on internally. And we need to listen to our body sometimes. And because this is the only, like I was said in my last video, this is the only vehicle we're going to have for this life is this body. So you need to listen to it and take care of it so that you may do some great things with it. But the universe is also trying to give us lessons. We're not just brought here without any type of guidance whatsoever. There are things that may pop into your mind, pop into your life, people that may all of a sudden appear. And I really think a lot of people appear in our lives not to be there forever, but they're there for a time, for a season, as I like to say, to teach us something. Uh, some people are there for the journey from here to there and beyond. Other people are only there for the moment to teach us, something very specific. So you have to be careful on what you ask for, especially because the universe is listening. If you ask for patience, it's going to give you situations to where you need to be patient, where you need to practice your patience. You want money, you want a job. Well, it's going to present you with opportunities. But if you're not listening, then those opportunities are just going to slide by. So be careful of what you ask for in your life. I have found the more things you ask for, the more things it will give you in time, in the correct time. It's See, that's one of the crazy things is that if if you ask for something, don't expect it to come knocking on your door 2 minutes later. It may take a day, it may take a week, it may take a month, it may take years. But the universe is listening and it will set you up if it's the proper thing for you to have. What if it, I can ask for $1 million. Who wouldn't love, a whole bunch of money? But if it's not the right time for me to have that kind of money, then it's not going to come to me. Sometimes we get a whole bunch of money. Like you see some of the lottery winners, and they get that money and they don't know how to take care of it. They don't know how to invest it. They just blow it on all kinds of material things. They buy cars, they buy houses, they go on vacation, da 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 da. And then they turn around and they're broke. They got this beautiful house, but they can't pay for it because the money's gone. So be careful of what you ask for from the universe. Openness is what you need. What does openness mean? It means being receptive. Receptive to what the universe is going to give you. Sometimes situations, especially, may come across and the universe is trying to show you something. Whether it's a difficulty that you need to overcome because you need to learn to be humble, you need to be patient, you need to be willing to be of service, you need to be helpful, in other words. Or there are opportunities for you to be helpful, opportunities for patience, that things will come to you when you're patient. Waiting in line at a grocery store. If you're patient, there may be an opportunity there. I see young men at a bus stop every morning when I go for my walk. Sometimes there's one there, sometimes there's two, um, and last year I would just kind of like say hi, good morning, no big deal. But this year I decided to try something just a little bit different. I was a little more open, and the other day there were like three of them there, and they're all standing around waiting for the bus. And I said, "Good morning, gentlemen," and they all kind of like perked up and said, "Oh, good morning, sir." And it was just like, I just kept walking, but it was a little thing. But I wanted to acknowledge that I saw their presence. I wasn't just going to walk by and ignore them. Let them know that somebody saw them today and acknowledge them. Because I remember when I was young, sometimes I felt ignored. So, and then this morning when I went by, there was only one young man, coming up to the bus stop, and I said good morning to him. He said, "Good morning, sir." I said, "How are you doing today?" He said, "I'm good. How are you?" And I said, "I'm good." And I kept on walking. I think I'm trying to open a door for maybe a little bit of dialogue. That maybe one morning they'll feel comfortable enough And I'll feel comfortable enough to stop and talk to them and say, how you guys doing? How's school going? Everything okay? That kind of thing, I don't know. What are you guys doing at school? What do you do after school? Whatever. I'm hoping to work that up so they don't think I'm some sort of creep. I don't want to come across that way, but I'd like to let them know that I'm open to them. So what this relates to is that this is an opportunity for me because I'm seeing them every morning. I think the universe is trying to show me something there. Now, along with that, you have a choice. Of course, choice is the exportation of desire and then the selection of actions. Now, action and inaction are brothers of the same coin, or both sides of the same coin. Every action or inaction, to me, has a consequence. If I just walk by those young men, never said anything, there's a consequence. I would ignore them, they would ignore me, and we'd never interact. Or I take an action and I say good morning, and we have a little bit of interaction. So here's an opportunity, and I need to take an action. So what are the things that the universe is trying to tell you, and are you taking action on it, or are you being inactive? Now, a lot of times we expect fairness from the universe. Fairness is the expectation of equality. The problem with that is life isn't about equality. Life isn't about fairness. Not all things are fair, quote unquote. Our expectation of fair. There are sometimes greater things happening than what we know that the universe is planning. Let me give you a little example. Stephen Hawking was stricken down and bound to a wheelchair. A brilliant man. So you have to ask, was that fair or unfair? Well, he was still brilliant despite his circumstances. So fairness is also a matter of perception. What might be fair to me might not be fair to you, and vice versa. What might not be fair to me but might be fair to society or many people. Or what's not fair to many people might be fair to me. Or my perception of that. So fairness has to have a quality of perception, I think. And sometimes when we think, oh, I wish that didn't happen. But yet, sometimes in the long run, when that thing does happen, it leads you to a path you would have never taken unless that thing that you deemed unfair did happen. You get in a car accident. Car is totaled. You get a new car. And maybe along with that, you get a better job opportunity to pay for the car. Or, So, in closing, what did we learn today? We learned that the universe is trying to teach you something. If you're open and listening and receptive to it, not with this or just this or this or the you that is you, the spirit that is you, is what are you listening with? Because sometimes you got to listen beyond our known senses. In other words, hearing, talking, seeing. Sometimes you have to listen with your spirit, and you'll find that there are many opportunities for lessons for you to learn to help you be a better human being. Leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. I respond to all my comments. Tell me what you think. This is a longer video than I planned, but still it's fairly short. So, be of open heart, open mind, and open spirit. Be blessed. Be well. Have a great day.